Hello everybody, my name is David. Welcome to my channel. This is a question and answer video that I do every single Monday. Today I'm answering people's questions from the last question and answer video last Monday. Any questions any of you have today, please go down below into the comment section. Ask me anything you want. Come back next Monday and watch for my answers. Thank you. I want to welcome new subscribers, people joining us for the first time today. Hello, welcome, thank you very much. If you could support me, I would really appreciate it. What I'm doing here is answering people's questions about emotional trauma, relationships that people are in with disordered people, specifically narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, borderlines, and I'm offering information and answers for people to help them understand and heal and recover. I highly recommend that you guys keep asking questions and keep learning until you totally understand what happened. What I like to do every week is recommend something. And this week I'd like to recommend, and what I do is I recommend things that could be a person, an author, videos, books, things to help with recovering from trauma, things like CPTSD that people have, PTSD, CPTSD. I like to recommend things that will help them with that, maybe anxiety, depression, things like this. So this week I'm recommending something really simple. It's called Up Nature, one word, Up Nature. And it's a little tube for 10 bucks on Amazon, of course. And it's a little roll-on oil. It has different oils. It's natural, like I always recommend. And it's an essential oils that you can roll on your skin, and it helps with anxiety. This brand makes other products for other things. One is for anxiety, one is for dreams, one is for too much thinking. So it's almost like it's really detailed for trauma, isn't it? So it's a little tiny tube you guys can get for 10 bucks. Travel with it, vacations, on an airplane, a bus, car, at work, anywhere in public, you can take this little thing with you and it will help. It's got peppermint, Spanish, sage, cardamom, ginger, sweet, fennel. Helps with anxiety, stress, and pain. So I haven't used it myself. I've gotten some feedback that people like it. That's why I recommend it. Everything I recommend, I know somebody that has done it or I've tried it myself. So I'll put a link down in the description box if you guys would like to purchase that or look into it. Thank you. Something else I like to recommend every once in a while is something called Shane's Petition. And what that is Shane was a victim of a nasty smear campaign. It went on for a very long time, and it was very intrusive in his life, and it affected him and other people around him in his life. And Shane didn't know where to go for help. There wasn't YouTube videos for Shane. There wasn't doctors that could understand and explain to him what was going on. And there weren't enough laws in place to help him fight the attack that he was enduring. So Shane took his own life, sadly. But somebody started a petition in his name to form laws to help this kind of public attacking. So if you guys could, so much, I would really appreciate it. If you could go down to the description box, you'll see Shane's Law petition. Tap on that link. It'll take you to the site. All you got to do is check mark it. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. I'd really appreciate you guys doing that. Thank you. So let's get started with the questions right away. All I ask of you guys, please, 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 and I'll just keep trying to remember to say this all the time because only about half you guys seem to do it. But please give me your location. Tell me where you're from. This kind of stuff can make us feel very, very alone. Very, very lonely. You'll think that you're the only one going through this. There's no help available. When you find out that this stuff is worldwide, that tons, thousands of people are experiencing the same thing you are, it just helps. It feels better. When you see people struggling with the same things that you are, and that you know that it's not just in your city, your town, your country, it's a worldwide human problem. It just feels better to know you're not alone. So if you guys could please give your locations, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Tell us where you are. John from New Jersey says, my ex would go months without showing signs of narc behavior. She had good qualities, but every 3 or 4 months, she would do something that would jeopardize the relationship. Do you think some narcissists try to fight those urges and blow up like a volcano? Yeah, I wouldn't know necessarily how it builds up like that. I don't know if they're always fighting this. I think that they have relief, and I think they have good times and bad times. And try to realize that borderline personality disorder specifically. Well, no, you said narcissist. This sounds like borderline. So you said narcissist. Do you think some narcissists try to fight these, or just sure? Personality disorder is very common for people to not regulate their own emotions very well. And if you can't regulate emotions, you may not be able to process emotions. And if you don't process emotions, they stay open. The more emotions you have open all the time and you're not processing or regulating them, makes you feel more or less stable, instability, okay? And the more unstable you feel, the more impulsive you become. You think you need to make choices right away, and they're not very rational. So think of, someone who experienced trauma specifically, if this narcissist, or someone you're asking about a specific narcissist. People that experience trauma, and most of us have childhood trauma we've experienced, we know what this is like. Try to realize, and I think you guys will know what I mean by this, is that feeling of when things are really good for a while, it's going to get bad. There's always some kind of fear or danger around the corner. It seems like our lives are like that, right? And it might not necessarily be our own choices. It might be, it is our choices. We're choosing to have people in our lives that might do this, right? So people that are narcissistic, or let's say people that have personality disorders, they may not process emotions. They build up until they have so many emotions on their page. They don't know how to handle it, and they become highly impulsive, and they will do things. They'll buy into their fears. They have a fear of abandonment. This is when they abandon you. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Thanks for asking, John. Please keep asking questions. Nicole from Portland. Hello, Nicole. Can you explain further how the narcissist tests you and you'll put up with secretly when they are being abusive? Well, I don't know if there's so much sitting there going, I'm gonna test you now just a little bit and see how far you'll take. What I think is they know that their behaviors are not acceptable, yet they can't control them. Yet it's the only way they know how to get the things they want. So they know they can't come right out and start yelling at you right away. They can't hit you right away. They can't just cheat on you right away, can they? They need to wait for you to be attached. And they'll start getting those kinds of signs from you eventually in the relationship, won't they? And they'll not be able to control their behavior very well, and they'll freak out and call you a bitch. And then they'll realize, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. But they'll wait. They don't apologize and stuff. They don't explain, so they'll wait. And if you don't say anything, then that behavior continues, okay? Yeah, I think that answers it. I hope. If not, keep asking me, Nicole. Thank you. Yeah, I think we need to understand that people with personality disorders aren't. It's not that they're so in control of their behaviors. They are not very in control of their behaviors. They make bad, impulsive choices. So they're not the plotters and planners. I know they will try. They're not very good at it. They don't plan the future very well, do they? So they're not trying to plan how they're going to abuse you so well. It's impulsive. Abuse is impulsive, most of it. Okay? Thanks, Nicole. Next one's from Christina. Hello, Christina. And Christina reminds me, please give us your locations, everyone. Tell us where you're from, okay? Be general. Is it possible a person does not have a single close bond with another person and can live happily? Well, it's definitely possible someone can live without any close bonds or attachments to people. What we need is society. You'll die without society. But you can live, I think you might be able to live happily at least times. I mean, happy is such a short-lived emotion, you guys. And we have layers of emotion, don't we? And we can have depression be this big and anxiety be this big, but maybe happy is this big. And maybe sometimes we're happy, or maybe a lot of times we're happy, but we still have some underlying anxiety and depression, things like this, okay? Someone can survive without bonds and attachments. We can't without society. Without a single human contact, we can't survive. That's how we are such social animals. that we cannot survive without human contact, period. Or there'd be a lot of people living, outside in rural areas, jungles, forests, and stuff like that, and there just aren't. There might be a couple people doing it together, or a few people, or maybe they have some kind of line to society, internet, talking. They come in every once a month or whatever. You just can't do it. We're just too social of animals. We aren't like any other animals that can go around and be by themselves and stuff like this. We just can't do it. So can we live happily without any bonds or attachments? Fleeting moments, but underlying, no, I don't think so. I think that is an absolute must in our lives. I mean, you have everybody tries. Pretty much everybody tries. That shows something, right? Thank you. Trinette, I don't know where you're from. Trinette, please tell us your locations, guys. Tell us where you are from. Thank you. I started dating right off. Okay, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. I started dating right off, but my counselor wanting me to start a new attachment. So I don't know if I wrote that. I might have wrote that wrong. Right after your relationship, your counselor wanted you to start a new attachment immediately. Right after, I'm guessing, a failed, abusive, toxic, bad, unhealthy relationship that you were involved in with another human being, which means you're half. I'm not saying the abuse they gave you was your fault or half your fault. No, not at all. But you were half responsible for a bad relationship. Do you understand that? And I think people get confused with that because people will say, well, my ex abused me, so I'm not responsible at all. And it's like, well, yeah, you are, unless they had you chained and locked up, right? So, because I want to give this attention because this is the second time I've heard this week. This is the second time someone has told me that their professional, therapist, counselor, whatever, told them, you had a bad relationship, it was abusive, and you're upset and you're traumatized and you don't know what to do and you want that person back so bad, you better start a new attachment with someone else. That is just the absolute worst advice you can give that person. Fucking worst. Worst. And I'll challenge anyone. I don't care. I'll challenge anybody, debate anybody that thinks that, when I have a bad, abusive, toxic relationship and I'm traumatized and I can't stop thinking about this person and I'm weak and vulnerable and I'll take them back and I even want my abuser back and I can't stop thinking about them and I don't know what happened and I had tons of depression. Date somebody else. That is just, I can go on forever about how bad and unhealthy and toxic that is. If you can't take some responsibility for your bad relationships, you will not fix them. You will not fix them. You want to point the finger, then you're pointing everything on that other person. Everything. Let me keep reading this. This is good. Thank you, Trinette. I'm glad I did in one way. So in one way, you're glad you did. I could tell which ones were narcissistic. I went through a lot of lemons before I found a peach. I have a fabulous relationship, but I still can't get over being put out to trash. Will it ever go away? Ask your counselor. I left them, but I got no resolution. Trinette, your counselor gave you horrible advice. Horrible advice. You say you're in a fabulous relationship. How do you go from a very toxic relationship that you voluntarily stayed in? Now you have a fabulous relationship. I doubt it. I doubt it. It takes more than sex, good sex. It takes more than just not fighting. It takes more than just some security. They won't cheat on you. Okay? There's way more to a relationship. Way more. And if you're in a bad, toxic one, I don't think you know exactly what a good relationship takes. What it involves. What the recipe is. Because if you did, why would you be in such a bad one? Why? You know what I mean? And here you are in this relationship. Now you're committed and attached to somebody else and you're still not over your past relationship. You can't talk to them about it. I hope you're not. Now, will I get over? You still can't get over being put out to trash. Will it ever go away? Yes, We have to process these things and talk about it. This is what your counselor needs to do. Your counselor doesn't tell you you need to go date. Your counselor needs to have you sit there and talk about all the things that felt bad and help you understand what happened. This is bad. And I'm not saying that you need to dump the person you're with now and be single. I'm just saying that they're a distraction. They're not going to help you work on yourself. You need to work on yourself, and you don't do that while we're starting and forming new commitments and relationships. There's only so many commitments we can make in life, right? At one time. There's only so much space and so much time for commitments. You want to make commitments to other people, you really need to make a commitment to yourself. And if you make all these commitments to your job, to your family, to a new girlfriend or new boyfriend and friend, all this stuff, what about the commitment to yourself, your recovery, your mental health, your future? I'd suggest getting another counselor. Find somebody else to help you more. Good luck. Shelly from California. I thought I was healed from a narcissist relationship and tried dating again on a dating app. Big mistake. I swear to God, I didn't put these in order like that on purpose. I wasn't healed because into a relationship with another narcissist. You weren't healed because you got right into another relationship with another narcissist. After a month of no contact now, you are having a hard time with your thoughts. You say, I can't stop thinking about both narcissists. Is this healthy? Well, let me just stop and I want you guys to realize, now you're thinking about two. Now you're upset about two. Now you can't get over two people because you didn't do the first one. You went right into the second one. And that's why, Trinette, that's where you are, right? You're in the second relationship. You haven't got over the first one. And I hope this one works out for you, but I hope that you keep working on yourself, not with this person. Shelly, I'm sorry that you got involved with two narcissists. That's awful. Two back-to-back relationships. You're already traumatized and trying to heal from one, and then you enter right into another one where they're abusing you, making you vulnerable. You are vulnerable, and they're taking advantage of that, exploiting it, and making you feel much worse, much more shame, much more guilt. Horrible. And so common, right? I never hear anybody say, oh, the narcissist came into my life right at the best time in my life, right when I was doing so well and I was so healthy. No, they come into your life when you're unhealthy. They come into unhealthy people's lives. After a month of no contact now, I'm having a hard time with the thoughts. I can't stop thinking about two narcissists. Is this healthy? I also feel guilty. I also feel guilt and remorse. I know I need therapy, but it could be more damaging. It could be, sure, but that's not going to stop you, Shelly, from getting the help that you need. Okay? You could get hit by a car on the way to your psychiatrist. Sure. That doesn't mean you don't go to the psychiatrist appointment, right? Okay? And so we use our brains and we find a good counselor or therapist. And that's not always the one that makes you feel really good. Because a lot of times the therapist or counselor or life coach that just makes you feel really good may not challenge you to make you do what you need to do. Okay? So I would recommend a specialist. Someone that specializes in exactly what you need and what you're looking for. Okay, Shelly? So we don't go to a tire specialist to fix a dent in our car, right? We don't go to an engine mechanic because we have a flat tire. Well, maybe they could fix a flat tire. But you know what I mean, right? We always say, yeah, our therapists don't know anything about narcissists. Well, there are plenty of therapists that know stuff about narcissists. If that's something that's important to you or what you're looking for, then find one that does. I'm sure you feel tons of guilt and remorse. They follow these bad relationships. You even said, I left that part out, you feel guilt or remorse for the things that you did in the relationship. Yes. And that's why we need to work with somebody else. Get help, Shelly. Don't do this alone, because I'll tell you what's more damaging is doing it alone. That is damaging. That is damaging. Doing this alone, isolating, not talking, not telling people, not having an outside perspective, saying, no, Shelly, you aren't a piece of crap. I promise. Just leaving your little voice, depressed voice in your head saying, you're a piece of crap, you're a piece of crap. That is damaging. So your question, is this healthy to keep thinking about them? I mean, it's ruminating, and it's probably not effective, right? We ruminate and think all the time because we think it helps our anxieties. We're so worried about what might happen, what could happen. We have to come up with a plan. We have to keep thinking and realize what we did was wrong. What could we have done better so that we can do now, next time, stuff like this. Right? And it's basically we're anxious, and we think by doing that it calms our anxiety, but what it really does is make it worse because there's nothing we can do about these things, right? And we're trying to think that we can, and we can't. Is this healthy? No, because it's not productive. But you do need to think about it, but you need to talk about it, Shelley. Okay? This is kind of like unhealthy, toxic, free thinking. Right? It's like allowing a small little 7-year-old child to contemplate death or the end of the universe or time. You know, it's too much. Too much for a kid. You can't be doing this alone. You have some healing to do, Shelley. And what I do is I go backwards with people, my clients. So we heal from the last relationship you're just getting out of. And when you really start to understand that and you really start to feel better about it, we'll go back to the first guy. And then after you really understand that and feel better and healed from the first guy, we'll go back to the guy before that, or we'll go back to your childhood where it originated, and we'll feel better about all of it. That's the plan. Okay, good luck. Thank you. Where are we at time? Let's do one more. Krissa from Florida. Hello, Krissa. I never get tired watching your videos. Thank you. Do borderlines get confused about their sexuality? Oh, man. Do they ever? Do they ever? So common. The histrionic or borderline. You'll see the girls that out in public in clubs, you know, out and about, and they're making out and kissing, right? They're doing it all for show. They want everybody to see them. They're so confused. I mean, borderlines are all, they have total unstable sense of who they are. So this changes who they are, who they think they are, and stuff changes all the time along with their sexuality. Totally. I know I've just experienced so many borderlines. I'm gay, I'm homosexual, I'm heterosexual, I'm trisexual. Try anything. That's what tries. So yeah, I've just heard so much. I mean, that's just so common. So common. So common. And what you'll see a lot is just people, not even just borderlines, narcissists. You'll see personality disordered people who do not have a stable sense of who they are finally come out of the closet in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Right? I couldn't, I mean, borderlines confused about their sexuality? Absolutely. Yeah. If you have more questions about that, please ask. And I'll leave the rest for part 2. Okay? That was part 1. Thank you, all of you. If you guys like what I'm doing, if it's helping you, you think I can help somebody else, please support me and help me what I'm doing. All you got to do is subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up or down, vote for the video, and comment down below. Write something, ask a question, okay? Maybe post this somewhere else or save this on your own channel in a playlist or recommend it to somebody. It would really help. Thanks, guys. Love yourself first. I'll see you in part 2. Bye.